Hey everybody, I'm Go VR Go Home. I want to welcome you back to my channel. Today we're looking at the Walthers switch machines. That's right. So I've got a whole system here that I'm going to show you start to finish how I set these up and basically how it all goes together and how it works. So with these, basically I'm going to be using it with a power supply. So I'm going to power it with the Walthers power outlet control system here. So yeah, that's just a power supply, and that plugs into the board. And this board here, you can plug, well, it shows 8, but technically you can plug, I believe, up to 16 of these individual machines. Well, technically, if they're all paired up. So either 8 individual or in multiples of 2. So I've got a few other things here that we're going to take a look at, but we'll get started now. Okay, so first off with these switch machines here, there's both the vertical and then horizontal. Horizontal are down like this, and then the rod comes up. I use both because depending on how the layout is, it might be hard to fit something that tall underneath it. And especially for my second level, I don't want things hanging down this low. So I'll be using the vertical or the horizontal ones just to kind of save some space. Now these are all your pins here where you would be plugging different things in. For example, your controller goes up in these 3 and your power input goes to here. If you're adding a second switch machine, you can run a power out from here and it would go to the power in on the second one. And then you just pick one. Usually the first one is your primary one, so then you would plug one button into that. But yeah, basically with this, when you get either a single or a 5-pack, you get mounting hardware, which is basically just small screws, and you get enough to do the, there's 4 on this one, and then on the horizontal one, there's 2, and then there's a little thing that sticks out here for the 1. And you get the sticker. This is the sticker for the horizontal one. And basically you're able to mount that, or you put that to the underside of the layout. You make your drill holes there to pre-drill, and then you're able to put it in place. The one for this is square. It looks just like the top of this. And then you do the same thing. And then you also get your wire, which is color coded, so you have to definitely pay attention to what colors go where and how they plug in. And it's very snug, and it's easy to take on and off, so not too bad. And this little piece here, that little blue thing there, that when that's in there, it makes sure that that stays center. So you want to leave that in there while you're doing the install, and then we'll take that out after. Along with that, you also get this piece here, which I don't personally like because it's so small. And basically what it does is it's supposed to hold your switch, so the switch bars are centered. And then that way it makes for an easier centered install on the underside when you're putting this up through. But this always comes out no matter what I do. It's definitely a 2-person job. So, yeah, not that great of a thing to, hold it in place. Especially if you don't have long arms, or if it's very deep into the layout and you can't really be on top of the layout and underneath the layout at the same time. It's always good to have somebody there that can assist you with that. But that's this piece. Let's take a look at what else you can get for the system. Okay, so this is one of the buttons. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open this up here. So there's your button. And let's see. So yeah, and then that when it lights up, that'll either be green or that'll be green. And then you push it and then it switches. Then obviously your cable for connecting your button to the switch. And then this stuff's all for mounting here. So for the fascia, you know, if your switch goes like this way, right, then you would drill like that. And then you can always do that way, line up and then drill another 2 holes to kind of complete what it really depends on what kind of switch or crossover you're doing. But most of mine are as simple, well, it's either going straight or it's going to cross over like that. So I got a bunch of these. And then when you drill the holes for it, right, you're gonna, that basically goes on the front of the fascia and it locks it in like that, right? Very nice. It's, you know, can't wait to try it out and see how it works, but let's take a look and see what else you get. Okay, so this is the power board for, I guess, the whole module. So if you've got a bunch of those switch machines and you want all of them powered, you're basically going to want to get one of these, and this here specifically. So you can see that's where your power cable goes in, or bus feeder goes in to supply power to all these. Now you can kind of see all the prongs there. So you've got 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. These are all for individual machines. So if I run power from one of the 3 sets here to here, that'll give that one power. So I can plug in multiple switches to one board like this. It also gives you these, they're basically like extension cables. So one end is male, the other end's female, and then you can always take one of your other cables, which have I guess I'm not even sure which end would be male and which would be female. But basically, yeah, you kind of match it up based off of the color of the wire, and then there you go. Then you'd have an extra long cable. Also comes with, obviously, your instructions to tell you what you need to do as far as color coding it and where to plug everything in. It also comes with your mounting hardware so that you can mount this either under your layout or to a electrical board if you've got one of those. With this here, because switches are so scattered, it's kind of tough to, you know, kind of add this and then run like 50 cables to one side of the layout. So I'm going to have these spread throughout, and then I'm just going to make sure that all the switches in that area will specifically go to these. And last but not least, we have got the power supply. Now, you can make your own power supply, but I'm going full lazy on this, and I'm using the Walthers one, so I don't have to think at all. It's basically, you purchase it, you connect it, and literally, it's as easy as this. That's it. That's it. Well, obviously you have to plug that into the wall, but still, that's basically all you're doing to add power. Okay, so we've got our 3 sections here. You got your switch machine with your power supply, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add power to this, and I do believe it will go like this. So it just goes in there, just like that. And then our button, which goes up here like this. There we go. Okay, So that's there and that's there. I've already got my power supply plugged in. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to plug that in. And nothing happens. That's weird. Maybe I've got this backwards. Oh, there we go. So you saw the flashing there. Oh, and we've got a light show. All right. So then what we do, take that out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so it's over on the side. And then it switches over to the other side. Green. Perfect. So now, the thing is here, now you guys remember, top is yellow, bottom is green. I hear that if you do it the other way, so if you turn this around, it's now green on the top, yellow on the bottom. So that basically it depends on which way this is facing, which way this is facing, and how you want everything lined up. But that's awesome. Now that I know that that works, I feel better about that. And then when you put that back in, obviously it goes light show, but it goes right back to center, which is neat because I still have to install this. Okay, so for my switches, I already had a hole drilled. Can't remember the size, but there's a specific size that you need to do to make sure that's big enough for the bar to go back and forth and have that wiggle room. Then I had glued my switch down already because I did all the track. So that left a hole underneath where I can place the sticker just underneath there and then be able to pre-drill the 4 holes around it. And then I was able to slide the bar up through the little hole in the switch itself. And then I was able to drill, well, you pre-drill with a drill, and then I used actually this here because it has a little star on the end. And I was able to basically use this and just do it by hand, and I screwed it up to the actual wood. Now this little piece here, you can see this is the piece that I have issues with. It just goes on either side of the actual switch, and it keeps this part in the very center of it, which is very important because if it's all the way over on one side, it might not go back and forth once you put the once it goes to one side. So once it's in place, then you remove it, and it's still in the center there, so it can go one way or can go the other way. And you basically have to do that with every single switch. So once it's in place, then you can connect it to your board and you can connect your button to it as well. For this here, I've got this switch here, and I also have another switch just up here, and they're both connected to each other so that when I throw this switch for the train to go this way, the other one will be throwing it to go straight as well. But when I push the button and this goes up this way, the other one will do the same thing so that it connects going right along this track from switch to switch, which is very neat because it's just one button that does it, and I can throw 2 switches at one time. So I'm going to try it out here, and I'm going to see if we can get this thing going back and forth now. So lastly, what I did was I cut the extra, and there's still a little bit there, just a little lip to catch the actual ties there, but not enough to actually hit any cars that pass. So then when you push the button, now it shows that the light goes that way, and you go up the switch. And the other one changes at the same time too to line up with this one, so that basically the train can roll right through onto the second track, and there's no derailments at that point. And now you're good to go back. Sweet. Okay, so there you have it. There is kind of an overview of the Walthers switch machines. Again, the power supply, this one cost me about $21. The board itself cost me about $13. You can get a single switch machine for about $22, or you can get a pack of 5 for about $110. And depending on the switch you go with, I got this one here that is the the two-way. It's $11 for one of those. Overall, yeah, you're gonna pay a little bit more because it's already all done for you. And as you can see, there's not much to it as far as putting it together, but it still might, you might need an extra hand on the install of the actual machines themselves. But as soon as they're in place and you know that they're centered and whatnot, you won't need any help beyond that because the rest of it is just plug and play. But until next time, I'm Go Veer, Go Home. Thanks again for joining me. I've got a train to catch.